Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Overwatch Watchers Brawl. I'm 3.007, joined by Sir Waltham, and we're here for the match between FreElo and Popeyes Buffet.
I gotta say, Threep, it feels like forever since we've last casted. I'm really looking forward to this. In reality, it was just 30 minutes ago. I know, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Literally an aeon. Like, I honestly can't. Relatively speaking, an infinite quantity of time has passed since we have joined. However, I'm glad to be back. We're going to be looking at Eichenwald as our first map. FreeLo going to be stepping in on the defense to start with Popeyes Buffet, a long-time returner of the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, going to be jumping in on that offense.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. A lot of name stays here from Popeyes. I'm going to be seeing a few new players from them. A couple name changes as well, from what I understand. But really, other than that, it's going to be the same old Popeyes that we know. The same old team going down there to Louisiana, eating some good old chicken. That being said, FreeLo, a little bit of a wild card here. Look forward to seeing their performances coming up. They're kind of a self-proclaimed ELO magnet for the opposing team. You were talking about the icons earlier, even their icons showing that little Christmas present with some ELO stapled to it.
Yeah, I honestly can't even blame them. Based on their initial reports, they have been a team that has kind of gotten shafted in terms of the SR matchups from time to time. So they have apparently accepted their role. They're ready to go. And more importantly, we are going to be seeing these teams getting ready to rock and roll. And we're going to get rocking on this Eichenwald map, and this is the part where 3.007 gets to make wild, baseless accusations in terms of team comp, and Waltham gets to shoot him down.
What you mean by that is I get to say, yeah, probably Pharah, and that's it. And that's all the input I ever have for these Eichenwald defenses. But really, if I don't remember Popeyes being too strong of a Pharah team. I don't know, however, we've seen kind of a divergence from the GOATS meta, which is what I do believe they ran a lot when they were with us. So we may see them kind of open up to some new avenues. And again, FreeLo just being wild cards all over the place, Charlie Day style. Don't know what they're going to pull, but you're ready to see it.
So you're telling me FreeLo's going to play the Pharah? Dagnabbit, the minute they say it, they select the comp, of course. I thought I had a shot here. Wait, they still got some people in spawn. I've got a chance here.
This might be.
No, they're gone.
No, not quite. We'll get them next time. We still got all season to get you some right picks here. But moving forward, Thorn on the Hanzo here. If that's going to be a mainstay, looking like it will be. Kind of curious to see. Soulful as well going to be on that McCree, perhaps just in preparation for that Pharah. I don't necessarily know how well it'll go against this GOATS comp that it's looking like Popeyes is going to be running right now. So you can try to hide behind that sign, but it's not that much covered.
It's a little spooky, but Thorn has no Zarya Grav to back up his dragon awesomeness. Meanwhile, Puckler is going to have all the Zarya ready, and this 3-3 composition is going to make a very hasty entrance onto the point. And Popeyes Buffet making no two bones about it. They are fighting for the point very quickly.
Yeah, and absolutely. That rotation coming in very quickly. They see that FreeLo is going to be on the left side, and they're going to rotate in a very strong fashion, and it's going to look very effective for them in this situation. Puckler kind of taking the front, while Quack just continues to swing.
Super impressed by Pyfo's efficacy on the Baby D.Va, able to get back into mech on the point, being able to hold out for much longer than I think anyone anticipated. And it is going to take a very large quantity of time for Popeyes to wrap up this point. Again, Pyfo really just stayed alive way longer than anyone anticipated, and it's going to take Popeyes a full minute to cap that first point.
Yeah, it looked like Popeyes was almost trying to stagger Pyfo a little bit, but then they saw Moonlight come in on that Reinhardt, and they're like, oh, we have to deal with a big health pool, immediately kill the Baby D.Va. It looked like a little bit of a toying, a little bit of a stagger out, but not necessarily the most effective strategy for the attacking team.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to blaze, despite their little playful attitude. They're going to be able to head right past that choke, but Soulful is going to be able to de-mech Techie very quickly. And, you know, the spawn advantage is huge, but Baby D.Va is nothing if not useless in the middle of a fight, and Dragons is going to be going in completely untested, but the big shatter goes in, grabs 5! Unbelievable!
Yeah, I believe the correct phrase is Fat Slam there. Big coming in from Quack, going to be laying everybody onto the floor. As soon as Moonlight goes down, they see their opening. Going to absolutely capitalize on it, and that's really what you need to do in that kind of situation.
The 5-man slam was huge. They have ults for days. Popeyes Buffet looking very strong as they march forward onto point B. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just they needed a little more time to get their bearings. Thorn, however, going down very early, not going to bode well for FreeLo, who look like they are possibly going to have a bit of a fight on their hands and going to be stalling one more fight onto point B.
Yeah, Skyman going to be throwing that nano onto their component. Reinhardt, however, the slam's coming out, the sleep's coming out, a bunch of CC coming out right here. That's kind of what you need to do. The combo not looking so strong for the defending team out of the gate, but as the slam comes out, it's going to turn things around a little bit.
Ugh, the grab, the slam, the bomb is all present and accounted for. And a big bomb comes out. Techie Gib grabbing two, gonna get Pyfo as they get caught out of mech. Skyman also going down, and the defense is starting to mount as they contribute a grab and a rally to this. They are definitely going to be holding this point B.
Yeah, and that was looking like it could have gone either way there for a brief moment. Really, the team's looking very low. I believe it was down to 2 or 3 on each side. But as we talk about a whole lot, the defensive spawns, especially when you're this late into the streets phase, the castle phase, it just really starts to look advantageous for the defensive players. And once again, today's been the theme of Zarya's going pretty far forward on the defense.
Yeah, super crazy awesomeness. Speaking of that very far forward Zarya, if you like what you're seeing, maybe you like a super aggressive Zarya, don't forget to vote on that MVP poll just below the stream. Maybe tune in when the action's a little less fierce because we're going to Big Shatter, but it doesn't really get anything, but the counter slam is in! Moon goes crazy, gets massive slams, kills for days. It's another successful defense.
Yeah, Moonlight must like Moonlight as a pancake chef because he just laid them all on the floor like flapjacks. I'm telling you right now, that was pretty strong awareness to know when that opening was going to be.
I'm dying. Wolfram doesn't want me to cast anymore. That was too strong.
It was all my plan to just get the solo casts all to myself.
You can't say that. It's too good. So here we go. It's again, the ult rotation seems to be pretty decent for both sides, but right now the defense is looking at a little bit of an advantage. But both sides going to be bringing the Grav into power, and as long as the Divas stay in mech, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, Hylomech gonna want to get that Transcendence up before the grab comes out, and they're gonna pop it in right as soon as it comes out.
Boof, but Pyfo's gonna be the one who gets the bomb despite the trans, and trances and shatters going all craziness, but the man advantage again, led by Moonlight's massive kills, is gonna go straight for the defense. And what started as what looked to be a pretty straightforward Eichenwald push by Popeyes Buffet has turned into a flat point B stuff.
Yeah, can we talk about how Moonlight got another Earth Shatter by the mid-fight of this last push, having used the Earth Shatter, another Earth Shatter, a separate Earth Shatter, the first, like, right off the bat last fight. So really able to just swing that hammer, get the massive ult charge that's needed. And that's what you want. You don't even want them to get an opportunity.
Crazy also would say, but this is a bit of a problem, as they have expended way too many ults, and Popeyes Buffet looking at a very tasty advantage. With only barriers to show for it, and Moonlight goes down, no more shatter generation for him. It's going to be Thorn committing suicide, Pyfo getting tossed out of mech, and Popeyes Buffet is looking at a very solid push now to finally capping point B.
Yeah, and this is terrifying. Popeyes did not have to invest any ults into that. We're going to be seeing, presumably, 6 ults come online now. Make it 5 as Big Bet going to be popping that sound barrier, but this is going to be crucial that they saved all of those.
The big 6 is ready, but Taxman don't need nothing but that rocket mace as they pick up the big 3k. The Diva Bomb is going to force Pyfo out of mech. A rally's going to be tossed into the final fight, and with 0.80 meters to go, this is not but a foregone conclusion. Thorn doing their best to stall it out. Moonlight also going to be coming into this. They have a shatter to contribute, and as we go 30 seconds in, this could actually be pretty huge. But again, the kill's massive for Popeyes. They're going to be pushing this to point B. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, worth noting, Kite able to get that anti-nade onto 3 or 4 members of FreeLo, so that's going to be very crucial for securing this point. However, the trickle's coming through and it just needs to stop for Popeyes.
Yeah, again, great anti-nades coming in. The shatter goes in now onto Moonlight. Popeyes apparently sick of this particular stall, and they do force it into overtime, which is fantastic. But now that point B has been capped, it is going to be a minute and a half going into point C, and we could be looking at an overtime clear here, which could be possibly exactly what FreeLo was looking to order.
Yeah, it's not unpredictable. In this case, if FreeLo able to finish with more than a minute on the clock, it would pretty much be up to draw status at that point. However, we're going to be seeing them have a lot of ults online. They were able to build that up through the massive stall, as well as drain a lot of time off the clock. So those were some solid plays that we saw coming through. Massive shatters.
Big grab, massive, huge kills coming in. Huge kills for the big, solid, lovely FreeLo, and just fan-friggin-tastic. What a great defense. They still have the Diva Bomb, they still have the Trans. Rally's going to be coming back online soon. Yeah, there's a truckload of ults coming in on the offense, but in terms of rotation, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at now is the rotation of support ult. Skyman going to have that Transcendence. About halfway through the fight, Thorn going to have that rally up, and then Helimic going to be having the sound barrier after that. So if they're able to space these out, they may have a little bit of a defense against all these ults coming out, as we're going to see the Trance.
Yeah, and there's the Diva Bomb. It is going to grab two. Helimic and Moonlight going down, and the counter bomb gets nothing. Big offensive push here. We are going to be seeing an overtime push onto C, and as the kills keep coming in for Popeyes Buffet, we could be seeing it all the way, but FreeLo going to have lots of chances here to stop this from happening.
Yeah, Moonlight being very bold to charge in there without the rest of their team. If they had just waited a little bit, perhaps they would be able to get a full 6 or 5 at the minimum reset here, but it's not going to be possible now.
Yep, and there is going to be a bit more time. They have a bit of a chance. They have Helimic's barriers coming in. Moonlight very close to a charge. A very big slam comes in. It's gonna grab Pypho, but it's not gonna get any kills off of it. And now there is gonna be, and Moonlight goes down before he can send his shatter out, rather mid-shatter. It's lost. Big grab goes in, but the kills just too huge for Popeyes Buffet.
Yeah, and a thick anti-nade coming out onto FreeLo. Going to be preventing a lot of healing to those members in the grab, and from there you think it's going to have to just be cleaned up at this rate. Soulful still trying to keep some presence on the point, however.
Crazy man equality on the point. The point isn't done, but with the D-back coming in, you can almost say that it's an equal fight, and Moonlight has rejoined, and you can't say that there's a man advantage on offense anymore. Now the Trance coming in, it's going to keep everyone up except for Moonlight, who's been massively intimidate. They can't get him, and they do get him down, despite the bubble coming in, trying to save him.
Yeah, that is going to be costly. That was perhaps your biggest tide turner there. With the grab coming out, it's just going to be how long you can keep onto the point, especially now that it's basically a 5v1 or a 6v1 on point. And that's going to be it. That's going to be Popeyes getting it to the end of the map. However, overtime it's going to be a factor if we see the completion go through here for both teams.
Yeah, huge opportunity for Popeyes Buffet to finish that map. They grabbed a hold of it, but it was the defense from FreeLo coming in. They almost had it. That was absolutely tenacious. I'm really looking forward to their offense, given that Eichenwald map literally took Popeyes Buffet to nothing. And this is actually a huge opportunity for FreeLo to utterly blitz point A, take it all the way, and really show that they're definitely not out of the running.
Yeah, and I think what's most crucial here, it's going to sound obvious because it kind of is. What FreeLo needs to do is they need to finish with more than a minute on the clock. If they can finish with more than a minute on the clock, they don't have to run the risk of Popeyes just absolutely blitzing through the first half of the map again. If they don't, then they're going to have to take that risk of Popeyes getting it at least a good way through Streets phase like they did the first time around. So if they have a minute left on the clock, they are the only ones who get to attack. And that'll be that. That's no issue. So I think that the onus is really kind of on them at this point, not just to finish, but to kind of finish in a very decent time.
Yeah, and they are going to be coming in with a spicy bit of that defense. Techie going to be popping onto the Pharah with Taxman on the Hanzo, and it's going to be Pharmacy in grand total. In short, we're seeing the classic 2-2. Not really super classic, again, it's the Hanzo Pharah. That's a combination you don't really super see, but you get that Dragon Ball potential. Meanwhile, they're going to be running right into a vicious 3-3 enabled by Inanna.
Yeah, and for Team FreeLo, it's going to be crucial that they just have damage avoidance, not necessarily using the shields or the ability cooldowns. They're just going to want to try to kite the Pharah into angles that she can't necessarily take as friendly. Otherwise, they're going to take a huge amount of damage right out the gate.
Yeah, and it's not looking good though. Farah building such ridiculous percentages. Skyman and Thorn leading the way, getting huge kills despite the anti-nades onto Pyfo and others. But Techie, wow, there it is. But incredible, they capture the point. They just didn't have their percentage. The rotations weren't there.
Yeah, absolutely. Techie doing a lot of damage as we with the ult charge here, but it's just not going to be enough to actually contest FreeLo. FreeLo basically going to be able to pile through the ground game, which, you know, when you talk about having to deal with a Pharah or a Pharmacy, it's just focus the ground game, then the Pharah becomes kind of irrelevant if you're able to win it. But in this situation, that's exactly what happened, and we saw the results. Once the Pharah went down, not a lot can be done.
Yeah, FreeLo more like free point A, and Soulful again going to be grabbing the pick onto Taxman, who had switched over to the Junkrat to try and get some damage going in there, but they're not able to build up much percentage before they get removed from the equation. Meanwhile, Quack goes down before they even get to their Shatter. It's Techie with the only possible option. Taxman gets res, and the payload moves on, and this 3-3 composition just has no equal right now, as Skyman again gonna pick off their poor daughter. And again, barrage unused, the payload moves, and this is exactly what FreeLo needed to be doing.
Yeah, Puckler had that projected barrier, used it onto Taxman. You think it might have been a little bit better if they could have placed it onto Techie, able to get that rocket barrage off, and maybe get a couple kills to turn things around. It just didn't go that way for them, and it's getting in dire straits for their time bank right now if you're Popeyes Buffet.
Oof, and a Diva Bomb gets tossed in there, but Quack going to be showing out the Fat Slam. It's not going to grab a lot. They're only going to get 2, but the pickup is there. Yes, it is. Pyfo does get demacked, but Puckler's going to go down, and the 3-meter toy is there, but the picks are very equal, and the anti-nades are making it very difficult for both teams to keep their peeps up alive. Taxman gets caught into the grab, along others with Kitey. They are going to get taken down, and again, with only Taxman left on the point, this point is going to take point B in what is now for this match to be considered record time.
Yeah, absolutely. 5.5 minutes. That is certainly looking extremely good here for FreeLo. It looks like they're going against their namesake, not going to be providing any FreeLo this time around, at least not for this game. And they're doing some really good work to really apply that pressure early on. We can see Moonlight getting a little bit towards the turn in this next fight before the fight's even broken out.
Yeah, it's often said that point A on Eichenwald is there because the big Fat Slam comes in, courtesy of Quack, with the anti-nade solidifying the deal. This is the big chance to re-solidify for Popeyes Buffet. Last bastion standing, much like that last Popeyes Buffet. They are going to be holding down, and with 5 minutes left, it is going to be a very long hold indeed.
Very true, and I really have to say I liked the synergy between Kite and Quack. Quack using the hammer down, and then Kite immediately hitting it with an anti-nade as soon as it happened, providing a lot of splash anti-healing capabilities to the opposing team. That's really a tough spot when you have 4 of your members down and you can't heal them at all.
Yeah, it's big stuff. Pyfo is actually going to be able to get back into mech with their Diva Bomb ready to go, and so the fight is back on. Moonlight building up to a chatter. They're gonna get halved, but it's gonna be still enough time to get them back up, and the Grav goes in, gets eaten by Pyfo. Puckler's Grav, oh no mas. The Diva Bomb goes in, it's not gonna get anyone. Now the Shatter comes out to counter, it's gonna get Zarya, but it's not really gonna have any options, and now it's gonna be again Popeyes Buffet with the counter. Big Shatter goes in, though. He's gonna grab Taxman. The barriers, however, they didn't get Shattered, so they're going in, and the Grav is gonna follow it up. And no kill's gonna be coming out from it, with Moonlight getting the nano, Taxman grabbing Pyfo, but it's still going to be the payload moving.
Yeah, once again, this is an expensive ult fight for both teams. Earth Shatters both coming out. I believe we saw both grabs, a Diva Bomb, a Sound Barrier, a Rally, a Nano Boost. And the ults have been going all over the place, and for the FreeLo team, it's looking like it's going to pay off. But for Popeyes, it's looking a little bit riskier of a play that didn't necessarily work out.
So the Rally is going to come out to give them more of a sustainability in this fight with the Diva Bomb. The Big Shatter goes in, it doesn't grab nothing though. Nothing happens, everyone's sad except for Popeyes, who gets a big slam back on the back end, and it's going to grab 3. Diva Bomb going in though, it's going to get Taxman, and the kill's still coming in for FreeLo.
Yeah, absolutely. And notable that Skyman going to be giving her Reinhardt that nano boost as well. Just to bolster the point, that's definitely a good character to use to just apply pressure to those spawns, as we saw the charge coming through and kind of zone locking those Reins. Now it will only be FreeLo with any time left on the bank, meaning that they have 3 minutes to get 1 tick.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss it. That was definitely the case with FreeLo's push there. For once, 3.007 gets to actually call it right. FreeLo needed to blitz Eichenwald and take it way faster than Popeye's Buffet did, and lo and behold, that's exactly what they did. Popeye's Buffet now in the glorious, unfortunate situation of being tasked with a 3-minute one-tick hold on Eichenwald. This is a super spooky situation, and it looks like they're going to be electing with the Ana-enabled 3-3.
Yeah, a very kind of precarious situation here. Not only do you have to pretty much have a perfect hold on this map, any comp you bring out is going to be able to easily be seen by the offense. And then pretty much just if they want, oh hey, just take it back to spawn, we'll reset up our comp to counter them. And then from that point, you can't go back. The only time you can go back is if one or two members dies and your team still wins the fight. Then they're able to swap, but you're still giving up ult percentage. So it's one of those things where you have to really pick your comp wisely. And I think that, I think Popeyes might be going with a little bit more of a safe bet here with the standard goats.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be seeing any Faras this time around as FreeLo begins their very preferential push onto the point. The kills are going to be huge here. If they can get that early pick, it's going to be massive. And the stands are coming in. Big anti-nade goes in, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Huge anti-nade going to open up the point. The kills are just way too strong. No heals for Popeyes. Shatter within 30, 20, almost 20 seconds from Moonlight. That's going to be it. The tick definitely going in. And we're going to be seeing Popeyes Buffet considering their next strategic option.
Yeah, and I mean, we've just seen Moonlight be so efficient with those Earth Shatters, knowing, you know, when the Rhine's down, when the Rhine is distracted, whenever the Rhine doesn't have his shield up for any reason, absolutely capitalizing on that. And really, for a lot of fights, that's been the tide turner. Not necessarily in that last one we just saw. I think that it was looking still pretty commanding for FreeLo, even if they didn't have the Rhine Shatter. But still, I don't think you're upset with just kind of locking it down with that ult.
Yeah, and Play the Game is going to be demonstrating that 100%, but as we're seeing from the cards, which the viewers may not necessarily be able to get to check out, we're seeing some really good stats coming out from Popeye's Buffet. And given that they actually did manage to complete Eichenwald, which is a feat in and of itself, we definitely can't count them out of the running just yet. However, the deck is kind of slightly stacked against them, but they have some hero bans to make a little bit of an evening attempt.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick a, well, let's go in order here. It'll start with FreeLo being able to ban a map. Then Popeyes will pick a map. Then I believe FreeLo will save a hero, and Popeyes will ban one.
Mm-hmm.
And those bans will go in effect for the maps. They'll go in throughout the rest of this match. So if they ban Li Zhang will be out for all the preceding games. And the hero ban will only be in effect for one round, but it will go to both teams. So if they ban Roadhog can't be used by Popeyes or FreeLo. A little bit different from the previous months. Always have to clarify that. But I'm still curious to see what they're going to be picking. What do you think in 3?
Given how super zippy FreeLo was on their initial attack, I can see them wanting to play more of that particular style of map, maybe more escort and more hybrid. But they are going to ban Horizon Lunar Colony immediately, meaning that might not necessarily be the blitz they're looking for. Popeye is now going to be able to pick a map. If I were them, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know what they're going to be going for. Given that HLC was banned, do you pick the one remaining 2 CP? It's a tricky sitch.
I don't know if it's necessarily game mode in this situation. I saw that it was Moonlight, as we mentioned, looking very strong on that Rhine. I think if maybe you can try to get them out of their comfort zone. Obviously, Popeyes hasn't seen too much of Moonlight's Winston play or Orisa play. If you're able to maybe play something a little bit divier that requires that Winston, you might be able to leverage that to your advantage. However, not looking like they're going to go that way. They're going to be going Hanamura. We might be seeing some Ryan, Zarya, May coming out here.
So if the bait was intentional, it has been taken. Popeye's Buffet picking the one remaining 2 CP map left. But assuming FreeLo actually really just strongly dislikes 2 CP, which is a sentiment that is not, how do we say this, unknown in Overwatch, that's definitely a solid pick for Hanamura. That being said, FreeLo now, given that they know they're going to be playing on Hanamura, they're going to be saving a hero for that particular map.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they might be trying to save I might say the Lucio is the obvious choice, but if it's not the Lucio, then maybe the Rhine. I think that the Rhine enables a comp that they are very comfortable in playing, and I definitely would not blame them for that. I still think you have a lot of options when it comes to DPS. You could probably comfortably go Pharah, at least for first point. You could go Widow. Hanzo also looks pretty good, depending on the comp. McCree as well. So I think all those are pretty good. You're all right if you get restricted one DPS, but losing that one Rhine can be a lot more punishing.
Yeah, the Reinhardt loss, and they are going to be saving a diva. So despite whatever ban comes out, they are going to have that tasty defense matrix in action, which is kind of huge, you know? We've seen a lot of different compositions on Hanamura, some of them slightly more meta, some of them slightly more eccentric, I will say. I say eccentric because those crazy comps have actually shown a crazy quantity of rich victory potential, because again, eccentric means money and weirdness. If you're just running, 6 DPS, it's not eccentric, it's just weird. That being said, so Popeyes Buffet, if they ban, say they ban Lucio, that's not necessarily a huge loss for FreeLo or themselves, as again Hanamura has just been showing in this tournament alone, let alone the entirety of Overwatch, you can run a lot here and do really well.
Yeah, and I would say that Lucio, this is probably one of the most friendly maps to ban Lucio, especially if your team is good with a sim. The sim able to relocate people arguably faster than a Lucio would be able to, especially when you're already held up at those chokes anyway. The sim, as we see a handful of times already in this tournament, able to just place a teleporter at the choke that goes directly onto point, and then from there on, the attacking team is now ironically defending the point, just trying to keep the other team from contesting and building up free progress. But interestingly, the Mei is going to be banned, so we're not going to be seeing the Hanamura stranglehold as it comes through a lot of times.
Wow. So again, as far as specific heroes bans go, banning the Mei on Hanamura, can't really argue with that, right? Like you said, banning the Lucio. Otherwise, like normally you'd think, hey, that's a great pick, but since the ban affects both teams in this particular tournament, maybe you don't necessarily want to get rid of that tasty resource for yourselves. However, that does mean that both teams will be unable to use that meme-tastic, rage-inducing Mei wall.
Yeah, and the Mei was one of those characters that is potentially very potent with the sim. You can kind of see that teleporter come up, and then as I said, when you're trying to just block people from contesting, you just bring up the ice wall in front of the main entrance, and then they have to go through side routes, which takes time, and you're able to funnel them through, and you'll know where they're attacking from. You only have to worry about one, maybe two angles of attack. So it has a lot of potential there. So I'm curious if they perhaps banned Mei in response to the D.Va, because D.Va has nothing to defend against Mei's primary fire, the left click endothermic blaster. Who knows? I think I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go either way.
Of course, we're going to be seeing pharmacy from both teams. Naturally, that's actually not going to be the case. FreeLo already being committed to their composition. It's going to be a Rein Zarya with a triple support, and Soulful going to be bringing the lone DPS. And as far as DPS goes, on Hanamura itself, with this particular choke in mind, Junkrat's many varied abilities plus his just simple ability to crap grenades going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And Junkrat, if he's able to land a lot of those pills really early on, he'll build up tire insanely fast, which when you're able to build up tire, you're able to get basically a free fight win unless the team is really good at focusing it out and making sure it gets destroyed before it does any damage. But a lot of times that's just not the case.
Yeah, and Big Bet's going to have a lot to say about that with that Lucio, but the Junkrat trap rather going to catch them. A little bit of a problem there with the Discord going in, and Reinhardt getting popped way high into the air. Quack going to get very low, and this push is going to get forced away very early on as they have to reconsider how they're going to come in against the Soulful, who, as Waltham mentioned, is already very close to tire.
Yeah, that's exactly what you like to see. You don't see the win, and Soulful actually placing the trap right where they anticipate the teleporter is going to be, trapping Kite as soon as they go through it. I like that. I like that play a lot.
You used to see the trap get set up on the stairs a lot, so it's difficult to see when it comes in. Instead, sometimes just some simple prediction, which against a comp running asymmetry, you can probably predict where they're going to be trying to set up, and Soulful makes that 100% abundantly clear that they are ready for it.
Yeah, and in this case, Soulful, I think perhaps being a little conservative with the tire, not wanting to use it until the fight has been committed to, obviously able to buy a little bit more time the longer the fight drags out, and if it's still a lost fight, then you're not giving up anything. You're still getting free progress.
Yeah, nasty sitch, but again, Soulful going to be leading the charge here. Shatter going to be committed by Moonlight. It gets a bit, and that's a bit what they needed. Puckler going to demech Pypho, and that could actually be a little more devastating than we think.
Yeah, that rotation was very dangerous in general from Popeyes. You know that the enemy has a Junkrat, and you're willingly putting yourself into a small enclosed space when the Junkrat has not used tire in the last 2 fights, and you've taken losses. You know that tire has a huge potential to come up. I think it's just fortunate for the defending team that they got 2 kills off of Soulful's grenades right off the bat, and they didn't need to use that tire.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting situation for the Popeyes buffet as they come roaring into this point once again up against a very nasty ult differential, and Moonlight again leading the charge. They used their shatter already, no pun intended, and now the fire strike going to be bringing them even closer. They keep rotating into this top right, and now the contest on the point has occurred. Puckler is going to be taking out Pypho, and Soulful again just going to be eliminating the damage potential. Huge shatter comes in, but it's not going to happen. Quack does grab Moonlight, and the ults have to be committed now to make this fight happen.
Yeah, Soulful finally going to be using that tire. Will probably be picking up will not be picking up any kills from it, and Quack going to be taking advantage, just clobbering them.
Yeah, that was it. Huge. The tire, if the Junkrat can't be getting kills, the tire needs to happen, but instead, it's going to be Popeye's buffet, with eliminating the ults that they needed, surviving when they need to, the Symmetra boosting them in. This point A is going to be theirs after a 3-minute long massive brawl.
Yeah, and I mean, it's looking good. They are very good to have gotten that first point, but they're not going to have a whole lot to roll on to second point with. They're just going to have Techie Gibbs grab. They might have Quack build up the Earth Shatter if he's able to swing into it enough. But we're looking at the other side. Pyro probably going to have... Oh, well, no, that's the Baby Diva. Going to be remech'd by the time this fight initializes. Moonlight going to be having that Earth Shatter as well. And we've seen Moonlight be pretty efficient with these shatters, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, they're sticking onto the Symmetra. The Grav goes in, gonna get a bit, but Soulful again. When you see Grav, that means mines go into it, and Soulful is just gonna be ripping apart the offense. A Shatter does attempt to go in, but he gets stunned out of it. Huge. Moonlight loses it. It almost doesn't matter, though, because Soulful's got the grenade for your ails.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that nano boost was perhaps just a precursor to Kite switching off of Ana, because that was a really late nano that you probably did not need to put on the Quack when 3 of your teammates were down. And you still have to deal with Soulful's tire, you still have to deal with the rally coming up. Aside from Quack, who might be able to pull off some massive shatters, it's looking rough because of that ult.
Huge problems, but again, it's a bit of an ult economy fight now, as Hanamura point B, very difficult to crack with 3 minutes 45 seconds left. Anyone's game, but it's going to be a big anti-need on Quack that's going to make it a little bit in favor of someone else, but it's Moonlight who actually goes down. Huge, but there's the big bomb.
Yeah, the massive tire coming through. Soulful going to be getting 3 kills off the back of it, as you can see coming up in the kill feed. That is tough. That is pretty much the utility you wanted to get out of Soulful. And it's looking like they might... No, they're going to be staying on the Junkrat, so that's something they're feeling comfortable enough with to continue to lean on.
Yeah, huge option. It's going to be big. Again, ult's now kind of evening out a little, but as long as Soulful exists on Junkrat, refusing to deal with him is going to equal a tire almost every time you wish it didn't happen.
Yeah, Soulful playing this real smart, knowing that as soon as the Diva dives, he has that trap to just kind of place down. And again, because of that, we're going to be seeing the kills go in favor of the defenders here. Moonlight getting the kill onto their counterpart in Quack. And, I mean, what can you do when your Diva's disabled like that?
Yeah, again, as far as Junkrat goes, one of the huge counters against them, it's gonna be Diva. But the lack of that defense matrix is just so massive. And yeah, Junkrat should theoretically be building huge, charge percentages for Zarya. Doesn't matter if Zarya's dead.
Yeah, and, I mean, Puckler looking like they're having a little bit of charge, but really not saving those bubbles perhaps until a little too early into the fight, so they're not really able to get them that initial charge in the mid-fight.
Big slam coming in. It's gonna grab a few. The bomb goes in. It's gonna get 2. Another huge explosive action, and the D-mech as well. Again, Puckler gonna have that grab set and ready to go, but they're also just gonna get staggered out as, again, the damage they were able to bring to the fight, not enough. They were able to build up a significant quantity of charge. Soulful just doing way too much damage up on that high ground.
Yeah, it's really looking like Popeyes needs to find a better way to kind of counteract this Junkrat. Maybe a twin dive coming in from Techie, and if Quack were to switch to a Winston or something. I don't want to speak too confidently against that because Soulful still has those concussion mines to just kind of knock away threats. But really, Soulful being an absolute pain in the neck on this high ground, it's something that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, and it's not looking good. The rally's actually going to be leading this defense, and Pyfo going to initialize with the kill onto Quack, so it almost doesn't even matter. Probably the rally was spent in good faith, but there's no way that Popeyes is going to be able to enter onto this point without Reinhardt, let alone their Lucio.
Yeah, indeed. I think that, again, we've said it before, something needs to change. I think that in this situation... Oh, in prior situations, you may have wanted to switch the Ana onto the Zen, rotate onto the high ground, and once you're on the high ground, the opposing high ground, just focus down the Junkrat. There's not a lot that the enemy team will be able to kind of rotate to get to. Moonlight, they're going to be stationed on the low ground. It's going to make it tough. I think that they've pushed center low way too much.
Yep, and despite the quantity of ults coming in, it's an equal quantity of ults, and a big shatter goes in, and Quack again goes down, with Taxman following shortly after. Again, the push defeated with a single ult, rather that is to say two, as Ana does contribute their nano. Now, it's almost a big six situation coming in for Popeyes. If any a push was going to succeed, this is it, but Soulful sitting on that Junkrat tire makes me wonder.
Yeah, there's no grab to keep them from getting onto point. They will do within the next 10 seconds. It's going to be questionable if perhaps Techie Gib able to get on there, but with Quack getting booped off the bridge, that's rough.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have Graph. Again, if your Zarya is dead, Techie gonna be dropping the bomb onto Hylamik. Now with the trans, that's huge, and that could actually be the big entrance that they needed. The DMAC coming in though, and the counter is there, with Pyfo again picking up the kill on the Kite, and there's a trans coming onto the point any minute now from Hylamik if they even need it, but overtime is there, and the defense is big, and not even a tick is gonna be gained by Popeyes as they get forced away.
Yeah, that is a very tough spot for Popeyes, but we see it happen all the time. When one team is looking particularly good on this map, it's never oh, we got 2 ticks and the other team got 3. It's always we got first point and they got the second point. That's what it is. That you very often see just one team able to get that first, but not really any progress on that second. Oftentimes it's for a variety of different reasons: skill differentials, compositions, positioning, rotations, anything like that. I think that in this case, it was a little bit of composition and a little bit of rotation errors.
Yeah, and honestly, Hanamura being like Volskaya, point A, sometimes it's a pretty easy nut to crack. Point B, sometimes it's the walnut that you can't find your nutcracker for, and you're just like, you're struggling for days, and then sometimes you just try to smash it, and instead of it going into pieces everywhere, it stays completely perfectly solid. And you're sad boys, you don't have point B. So instead, you have to relocate to your offense, or rather your defense. And now you're thinking, okay, we've got our defense together. How are we going to handle this? And it looks like it's going to be taking a leaf out of another player's book.
Yeah, indeed. I think that Puckler perhaps going to be trying their luck on this rat as well. Not necessarily a bad call. I guess this is what you just play on defense with Hanamura when the Mei is not available. This is now in my mind what the permanent mainstay of a non-Mei Hanamura defense is.
Yeah, they got some CC, they got some area of effect damage, they certainly have the burst, like grenades for days, and that remote mine double action, like a shotgun from Doom, it's just going to be bringing the hurt.
Yeah, and once again, we're going to be seeing the GOATS comp come out from the attacking team. Need to be very careful not to give Puckler the same kind of ult charge that their team had received for Soulful, but we'll see how they manage to play around at this push.
Yep, they have the mines set up, they have the grenades going out. Puckler doing a fantastic job of generating that said percentage. They're going to avoid the mine entirely though, and they're going right into the point. They're going to open with the kills. FreElo doing a fantastic job, rotating, taking the percentage. Puckler, haha, gonna grab Thor though with the bear trap kill. You always hate to see that, it's like getting hit by a flashbang. But Moonlight going to be leading the charge once again. But Puckler again, the tire's already ready. Is this one going to generate anything? Nay, the Fire Strike takes it out.
Yeah, it looked like perhaps Puckler trying to play a little bit with Puckler. Puckler trying to play the shield game with Moonlight, not quite able to win it out. And that may be expensive. We're going to see if they're going to choose to stick with Puckler on this Junkrat. Still building up ult charge really fast, but not enough to save this point from being taken at least at 2 ticks.
As Waltham says, may be, may not be. Just like the band that went on to May. That was a reach, I apologize. But they are going to take the point very quickly. And that's, unfortunately, for the Popeyes buffet, going to be a 6-minute, 40-second plus hold to withstand 1 tick from FreeLo.
Yeah, and that's tough. That is a tough spot, but we're going to see how wisely Puckler plays this Junkrat, as well as how the team of FreeLo is going to react to it. Fat anti-nade coming out.
Yeah, and the Shatter again coming out, but immediately stunned, with Taxman going down in the process. The big tire going in, that's also gonna fall, and the point presence is there. The counter shatter comes in, but the kills are too strong, and there's too much of a man presence on the point. Quack Shield going down, big nano boost onto Moonlight, nasty times for everyone involved, but the barriers coming in means that Popeyes has a much longer time on the point.
Yeah, Quack able to just dodge out of the way of that Earth Shatter, meaning that they will not get taken down, buying a lot of time on point. Thorn going to be taking a little nap in the side field. Might prove to be crucial, as they're not going to be giving that inspiration damage to the inspiration healing to the rest of the team for a time being.
Yeah, CC the king of the fight here, with also some counter charge action going in, and some anti-nades rather being a big bit of a problem, and FreeLo gonna actually be forced away after committing almost everything to that fight.
Yeah, you said it, FreeLo, that was a very expensive fight for them. Thorn going to be the only one walking away. They took about, yeah, I think it was close to a minute off the clock. The defenders did. Popeyes took a minute off the clock, and they're already halfway to all of their ults, with the exception of Puckler. And you look at the other side of the board, not necessarily looking that healthy. Soulful not going to have that potent grab to really kind of help Moonlight build ult charge off of, or get any fat nades off the back of Skyman.
And again, we're looking at Puckler. They've got the tire, and so the Thorn rally's gonna come in, but a tire has a lot of damage to be ripping through that, but it goes down, and Puckler's also gonna die. The big anti-nade also going in on some many defensive members. But with Thorn sleeping, are they gonna be able to make anything happen? The answer is nay. Yes, with Pyfo going in, they're gonna grab Techie. Quack goes down, Tank's down for days. Fat Slam goes down, gonna grab Big Bit, otherwise the follow-up is there. And it's going to be FreeLo with the presence on the point. The tick is not but a matter of time.
Yeah, and these teams are playing really strong around their Anas, really showing you what the how important healing is in this comp, because as soon as an anti-nade goes onto any hero, they immediately get focused down, especially if it's that main tank. There is no hope alive for Moonlight and company if they get hit by that nade.
Yeah, super tricky situation. But again, you have the man advantage on the point, and once that happens, it's rough. Even with the Hanamura spawn advantage, you have to somehow find a way to equalize that. And the Junkrat tire can be a way to do so, but without some kind of protectorate, without some kind of Diva or Reinhardt to be charging in ahead of it, it's difficult to make that equalizing move, and instead we're going to be seeing FreeLo coming out of that with the 1-0 and a ban coming in for the next map.
Yeah, and I think that FreeLo probably feeling pretty good right about now. And really, I think that the difference in play there was the Junkrat. We saw the Junkrat for FreeLo really taking that high ground, that separated area, really causing multiple lines of fire, whereas Popeye Buffet's Junkrat was playing more so as a part of a squad, which is not necessarily the best. Junkrat probably likes putting a lot of unnecessary damage onto his opponents from a distance, where he's able to kind of control chokes and things like that. And as we saw, FreeLo able to control that main choke very effectively with the Junkrat. So I think that Popeye's Buffet perhaps going for a comp that they may not have been as versed in.
That sounds like a pretty legitimate option. You know, Popeye's Buffet, again, they're not necessarily showing a bad performance. It's just the use of the Junkrat wasn't really there in terms of that fight-winning potential. Riptire has the ability. We've seen it before. It's like the Diva Bomb of old. A 3k or more, and it's a complete flip. So now we're going to see how that's going to affect the next fight. As FreeLo, they are going to ban Lijiang Tower. So we've played both of our 2 CP maps that are in the pool, Horizon Lunar Colony having been banned, and Hanamura having been selected. So with Lijiang Tower getting banned, the map pool has shrunk again even a little further.
Yes, once again, we're only going to be seeing 5 maps up for choice right now. we're going to be seeing Busan Ilios, which is going to be our next map, Dorado 66 and Hollywood. Very possible that Ilios is going to be the last map we see of the evening, and I think there's a lot of potential here. I think that this kind of encourages teams not to play as GOATS-esque style for at least one or two of the sub maps. We talk about how it's a CC map, basically. It's a displacement map. Environmental kills abound at well. A little bit as well with Lighthouse if you're able to use Lucio or Afara to kind of knock people on that outer rim. It could be very strong, but I think that a lot of the options are going to open up here now that Ilios is kind of the map du jour.
Yep, and I think we might possibly be seeing a little bit again of that kind of sort of mind games. The ban had earlier come out on Horizon Lunar Colony. Hanamura was immediately picked, and we kind of all saw how that worked out with FreeLo again picking it up. Now they've banned Bijang Tower, and we're going to be going to Ilios. I can't help but wonder if this is FreeLo's kind of play here. But since they're going to be saving, since they're going to be saving the Roadhog, I feel like the mind games are out in full force.
Yeah, I think that they are definitely setting it up to be looking a certain way. I'm kind of hoping Popeyes Buffet going to be trolling a little bit and saying the Orisa just so that Roadhog pick is either less effective or not used. That's my sense of humor, but I don't think that's going to realistically be the case. I think maybe Lucio might be a comp that gets banned, or is a player that gets banned. When you play in bunker comps, when you're playing sniper comps, Lucio perhaps not as important because those are comps that are either very split with their players or that are very stationary, aside from the occasional rotation. And the ban is actually going to be on Orisa. I'm loving it. I like it, Popeyes.
It's nice to see it come in from the other side. Orisa getting banned, so without the Orisa, Hog has an interesting role. But I'm not going to say they are a guaranteed no-show on this map. We've seen the Hog before come into effect with a Reinhardt. It's totally possible, and with both teams tossing out that Lucio, it's 100% possible that Hog may make an appearance. That being said, since I'm the one who said it, 3.7's always wrong. GG's. Let's see how we're going to be going. And it also depends, what particular round of Ilios are we starting on?
Absolutely. And, even though the Orisa's not there, if you still want her control, which we are going to be going on to which is when you would typically want to see her.
Glorious.
Despite her not being there, I mentioned it last game, but you can still always use that Hammond if you want some lock-in CC to kind of combo with Hog. Obviously, when you pile drive as Hammond, it knocks all the unshielded players up into the air, kind of in a set path, making it real easy for the Hog to grab them. Perhaps not as coordinated as you might see from an Orisa comp, but if you're still trying to run a comp that is enabling that Roadhog chain hook, then that might be something you want. I wouldn't call it pulled pork, I'd call it meatball or something.
Yeah, meatball. I super really like that description. That makes me really happy. And that being said, though, what also makes me really happy? Effing up the comp predictions. And FreeLo gonna be dropping out the pharmacy. So we got the Hog Reinhardt. Oh, come on. Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, FreeLo.
3 obviously getting very turnt about these picks coming through right now. I'm liking it so far overall. Also curious to see the Winston Zarya, a comp we don't see that much, but it's just going to be your standard dive goats, your goats with a modified Winston.
On the other hand, FreeLo going to be pulling out the king, the legend, Hog Master 6000, the Australian man with the master plan, and they're going to be taking that far right onto point. It's going to be up to Soulful to generate barrage, but against this divey 3-3, it's going to be a bit of a trick.
Yeah, and this is kind of nice. You like seeing the Hog. He's a little bit anti-dive. Going to be hard to really get a hook, though, with this much barriers and shielding that's going to be kind of flying around the area.
And Techie Gib, though, going very down early. They are going to get stunned. They're going to get teabacked immediately, and Soulful going to be grabbing Kite as well. It's going to be no point contest for now, as FreeLo elects to establish map control before point control.
Yeah, absolutely. And Skyman, once again, getting a very fat anti-nade, going to be landing on 3 members of the team. And this is really smart. I really like what's going on here. You have the Mercy and Pharah up in the sky. The Mercy pretty much just dedicating resources to the Pharah. The Hog can heal himself. The Ana is pretty much just there to focus on the Reinhardt and maybe bail the Hog out if he gets into a tough situation. The Lucio should be avoiding the damage. So a lot of this kind of works together in a very unique way. You add the fact that Hog is very anti-dive, that it's hard to dive Pharah in the air, and you have a comp that's looking pretty good against what is basically a dive version of Goats.
Yeah, and now you're going to see Soulful being able to pick those ridiculously long-range projectile kills. It almost doesn't even worth saying at this point in Overwatch, but projectile damage doesn't tick off. So Techie Gib, who has switched over to the Widowmaker to try and deal with that, isn't going to have a lot of success, especially while Kaidi is once again coming back from spawn.
Yeah, and the ults, I mean, we can just look in the top left, and we are seeing a lot of ult come online. One less now that Soulful going to be using that Rocket Barrage, but you take that trade when you get 3 kills off the back of it. Good lord.
Yeah, and you get 3 off of it and you live at the end of it. That's just some kind of wizardry right there. Soulful even going to be picking up a bit of a 4th kill onto Techie. Can't really call it a 4K, you know, timing and whatnot. Yeah. Athena has the right idea with those callouts.
Absolutely, and I mean, Soulful being dominant enough to land basically right in front of the spawn of it's going to be Popeyes Buffet, and not take any damage, not get punished for that, and that's just kind of showing the dominance of FreeLo on this map right now.
And there it is, they get another kill very early on to Big Bet. Again, before they can even leave spawn. So this is the point where Popeyes Buffet need to reconsider their choices. It's the sole barriers that they have is the Zarya and the Winston. Both very temporary, very low health. But even with the Shatter coming in, Moonlight Shatter though gets completely blocked. And now with massive barriers on the hands of Popeyes, this could be a huge chance for them to enter in, but instead they're pushed away.
Yeah, the first kill, I believe, coming in for Popeyes on this map. And we are now just getting into the 99 range. That is looking a very dangerous proposition for them. Not a whole lot to deal with Soulful, especially as Taxman going to be dropping. Techie not being proven capable enough to land these shots quite yet.
Yeah, Techie's switch onto the Widow should have been a huge counter for Soul. Instead, they're just getting kill after kill, even dropping into grab. The rest of the picks on this map, we're looking at 99 for FreeLo. It's not looking good for Popeyes. They need to get a presence on this point to extend this over time, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, overall, I really like that pick. Pyro seeming like that was the absolute play. A lot of combinations in there, and the fact that they were going up against Dive Goats was just kind of added fuel to the fire. I think that they initially may have been trying to go for a pulled pork style composition with just the Rhine instead of an Orisa, or I guess it would just be the pork combo, but they realized, hey, we're going against a dive comp team. Let's just run into them, hit them with all we have. We have anti-dive characters, and we'll make it work. And I think that the results did show that.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, again, we're looking at the MVP polls just below that stream. Let us know who your favorite player is. Make your voice be heard as we go into this ruins, but maybe you want to see the players go one more time on this map with Soulful coming out on a Reaper and Techie Gib going to be countering on the Pharah.
Yeah, a lot of interesting choices coming out here. Taxman CPA also going to be that McCree, perhaps in preparation of another Pharah. They do not want to get disrespected like they did last time around, so I think that that's perhaps a little bit of a Pavlovian response.
And there it is, Techie Gib going to be building a percentage, but it's Moonlight who grabs the kill into Quack first. But it's still a trade. Techie Gib going to be finding the Brigitte with a 5v5 with a lack of shields though on one side. I think this is going to be definitely going into FreeLo, going to capping the point first. And that's Soulful just doing an incredible quantity of damage, keeping away those tanks.
Yeah, and this is kind of something, well, the main tank situation is something that FreeLo is going to have to be a little bit cautious of. Once that Winston barrier gets broken, there's nothing to stop Quack from just smacking everybody and knocking them down onto the floor. But that does require Quack, of course, to build that charge and really be enabled for that.
Yep, and while they are making a fantastic entrance onto the point once again, the kills again are just going huge, and despite the Shatter going in, there's no follow-up available. Soul is going to be able to get back up before Quack can get a hold of them with their Rocket Hammer. Going to be laying into them with their own double shotguns. The point ticks on, and FreeLo showing fantastic presence on what should be their match point.
Yeah, and this is looking like a situation where Techie Gib should be able to apply a lot of pressure with that Pharah. There's not a lot to deal with them, but it just does not seem like they're able to, or at least not able to leverage it fast enough. Again, we talked about you have to be very decisive and quick with Pharah, otherwise you'll lose the ground war, and that's certainly not something the rest of your team wants.
Yeah, and now Taxman has also switched on to a Genji, or McCree, derp, but Soulful's going to end that very quickly. with a Death Blossom, and the pick, however, Teggy Gib throwing a barrage into the backline. Massive kills now for Popeyes. This is the resurgence we were looking for.
Yeah, and although the Sleep Dart did come out from Skymin onto that Pharah and then the cleanup by the Reaper, not quite going to be enough, but there is still a little bit of a walk back the now attacking team's going to have to do. Taking out that Reaper's going to help, though.
Yeah, massive. And Popeyes Buffet, despite the counter ticking up, they are going to be able to establish dominance on the point. They're going to be flipping it, and they're actually in pretty good position. Keeping that percentage at 82% means they actually have a chance should a full team wipe be enacted by FreeLo.
Yeah, it will be a little bit tense. They will have to kind of book it if they do lose this point one more time, but you still rather just like to take it in one go. I think that they're still trying to be very mindful of Soulful, but they're trying to focus him down. I think we've seen that come through a lot more. They're trying to be a little bit more careful with that as well.
And the Diva Bomb going in and ripping away Kitey is not going to be a good sign, but Techie Gibbs going to clap back with Puckler grabbing the big grab, and Big Bet gonna be resurrecting the Ana means that they still have a huge shot on this point. Moonlight, however, dropping their Primal Rage into the problem, grabbing two of those squishies is huge. Soulful, though, going down means that the tech play is gonna be huge, and Techie Gib, again, after grabbing Soulful, is gonna drop a rush, but no kills resulting directly from it. And honestly, this point is anyone's game, though with the D-Mech going in, it's looking more and more likely that it's gonna be a full hold from Popeyes Buffet.
Yeah, Moonlight really utilizing that win very well, actually able to smack away Quack into a corner as soon as they pop their Earth Shatter, meaning they're not able to knock anybody onto the floor. Did not end up saving them in time, but I always like to point out those little plays that perhaps not quite seen by the average viewer.
Yeah, huge awesomeness. But Soulful gonna grab that pick on the Puckler, though. That's gonna possibly could be the opening that they need. But we're again entering into kind of 1.5 fight territory. As with King of the Hill maps, a big team fight win could spell the difference for either of these teams.
Yeah, and you did not want to give that point up if you are Popeyes. You would have liked to hold on to it, because now basically you're going to be put in a situation where you're being chased off and they're building up ult charge. You would really rather have one of the two, and a fat Shatter going to be seeing if we can make anything out of it.
Oof, and an early Death Blossom that's going to be 98-99. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, no overtime for this match. FreeLo is going to take it all the way.
Yeah, FreeLo looking pretty good here. And I mean, I think that for the first time, or for seeing this team for the first time, they have definitely left a very good impression. Soulful looking very strong on that Pharah, as well Pyfo on that Roadhog. I think that there were a lot of plays here that were looking very reliable from this team. Things were looking very coordinated as well. As I mentioned, the Ana Rhine seemed to have very good coordination whenever the Shatter would go down or whenever the opposing Rhine shield would be down. They'd get those nades in at the very last moment, or in a very tight spot. So it was looking very good from those players throughout the entire game.
Absolutely, and Popeyes Buffet even also at the very end there, we saw some really solid action coming in. I don't want to count them out yet. It's just a really solid showing, and FreeLo really, honestly, doing a fantastic job with a variety of different compositions, and Popeyes making a fantastic effort to match them in every way, shape, or form. I feel like FreeLo set up a bit of those mind game actions. We saw them ban a map in a map type. Popeyes Buffet picked the same map in the same map type, and FreeLo went on to frankly dominate.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, we all saw what happened here, folks. I think we are definitely looking forward to seeing who FreeLo is going to be sending in to kind of chat with us, see things or hear things from their point of view, see how they thought about that. It looks like it will be Thorn. I hope you're ready to grill them on some of the powerful plays we saw coming out here, 3.
Now, again, I do want to emphasize, hit us up with that Twitch MVP poll while we interview the fantastic, the effervescent, the probably excellent. I'm going to assume that they're also generally good looking. We got that Thorn action coming in. Thorn, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Well, hells yeah, we're doing pretty good. Waltham, why don't you start us off here?
All right. Well, Thorn, we were seeing some pretty strong gameplay coming out from your team. Was there, well, I guess first of all, you said you're feeling pretty good, right? You feeling high off that win?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Very right on. Now, were there any points where you guys were kind of like, ooh, this isn't looking so good? Or was it pretty much just smooth sailing?
I think we had a little bit of a problem with Techie's far up, but I think most of it was smooth sailing. Yeah.
Oh, right on, right on. Now, kind of moving forward, you guys looked pretty comfortable on a variety of comps. I really liked that. I believe it was the Hog Rhine that we saw come out on well. Do you guys practice a wide variety of comps, or is it more so just kind of central focused?
We practice a lot. We were trying to practice like goats here because we're not that great at it. But yeah.
Well, I think we've been seeing, some pretty decent, some decent performance on those goats variants. But also worth noting that Junkrat play, was that something you guys had practiced on Hanamura? Because it seemed so effective that Popeyes looked like they were kind of imitating you for a little bit.
The Junkrat? No, I think Soulfall's just a generally good Junkrat. That's just what he plays.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, it was certainly the results that we saw. Are you guys going to be kind of doing any preparation for the next coming maps, or are you guys just going to kind of take it easy and see how it goes?
I don't know if I can answer that one, honestly. I mean,
that's fair. Absolutely, I guess I can't expect you to give away all your trade secrets. I apologize. I didn't mean to.
We super like secrets. We super like comps. We super like comp secrets.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, our man Thorn, I got one final question for you and you alone. We saw you got a lot of solid action, but what are your top 3 favorite heroes in Overwatch to play?
Could I say all of them are Hanzo?
I mean, if you did, I wouldn't be sad about that, because that shows a lot of dedication to a single hero, and it makes me super happy inside. So yeah, no, you can say that the Hanzo man with the master plan. We're gonna let you go now. We're gonna have our viewers tune out for our MVP. But again, congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing more of you all in the tournament.
All right, thank you. See you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have our MVP courtesy of yours truly, and the answer is Moonlight, the tank man extraordinaire from the FreeLo, who just did some, frankly, incredible work.
Yeah, really. We talk about how tank play a lot of times is kind of a dance between supports and tanks, and I think that Moonlight really kind of taking the lead there, really opening up some opportunities for a whole bunch of different situations to really capitalize on. The shatters were great, the swings and the closings of the distance, and when they needed it to happen, it happened. I think it was overall some very impressive performance.
Yeah, solid stuff all around, so Moonlight, well-deserved MVP. Thank you very much for playing tonight. Good games to both FreeLo and Popeyes Buffet. We look forward to seeing both of y'all in the tournament moving forward, as this is not the last we've seen of either teams, but for now, we'll have to tune in later. That being said, my name is FreeBoy007. You find me on Twitch and Twitter at FreeBoy007.
And likewise, I am Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitch, Sir Waltham, or Twitter, Sir Waltham Gaming. Thank you very much, and have a great night.